Thank you so much, Dane, for joining the program. I really liked his insight, and he stuck with it. He said that you could see one of the top edge rushers go around this selection, so he had them selecting Dallas Turner, the edge rusher out of Alabama, who tested like crazy at the Combine. Well, let's dive into what Brugler said about this specific pick in his mock draft. This match feels too easy. Turner isn't quite Micah Parsons, but he can be used in a similar way with his ability to drop back in coverage, rush from different angles, or be an impact player versus the run. He would instantly upgrade New Orleans' front seven. Now, this draft target is very, very interesting to me because the production, it's clear. Like, he is a really good player, and he did it for multiple seasons with the Crimson Tide. He plays alongside a lot of really quality athletes, so it sticks out to me that he can be the person who shines amongst all those players. 23 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, and a pass breakup. This kid is talented, and I would love to see him play opposite of Cameron Jordan, get some run with Carl Granderson, maybe throw Isaiah Foskey into the mix as well. But in terms of the relative athletic score, the New Orleans Saints are, I'm going to just say it, they have a hard-on for these kind of things because they love how this displays the athleticism of the draft target. So for Dallas Turner, he tested really well at the Combine. His vertical, 40.5. His broad jump, 10 feet, 7 inches. The 40-yard dash was excellent. The 20-yard split, the 10-yard split off the charts. And the overall RAS score of 9.49. Those are things that the New Orleans Saints love, and that's something that I can see the Saints banking on and going and making the selection at 14 overall. If you remember, Trevor Penning, he had an extremely high relative athletic score. That's why the Saints fell in love with him whenever they selected him in the first round a few years ago. But I want you to pick an edge rusher for me because I've talked about a lot of edge rushers, and these three are kind of like the general consensus top three guys amongst Saints fans and for me personally. And in no particular order, pick a day of the week. I love one of these guys more than the other two. But Dallas Turner, Laiatu Latu, or Jared Verse, just type their initials down below in the comment section. I want you to be in the draft room. All right, so let's get to ESPN's pick, and they had the New Orleans Saints selecting Taliese Fuaga out of Oregon State. Jordan Reid went on to say this about the offensive tackle. Durability concerns have plagued Ryan Ramczyk, and the development of Trevor Penning hasn't been as quick as the Saints had hoped, leaving a major question mark at that right tackle position. Considering they are essentially all in on Derek Carr, the Saints must improve the protection around the soon-to-be 33-year-old quarterback. Now, I totally agree with what Reid had to say there. I think Jordan Reid made some really good points. They are locked into Derek Carr. They do need better protection for him. And in terms of the PFF grades, goodness gracious, this guy is good. The overall grade is incredible. The run blocking grade, holy cow, 90.9? Are you effing kidding me? The pass blocking grade, stellar as well. Look at that. Look at that big old fat goose egg next to the sacks allowed. And then the hits and hurries, only allowed 2 hits, 10 hurries. I mean, that's really, really good stuff, guys. And look at the relative athletic score as well. At the Combine, he showed out. His 40-yard dash, 5.13 seconds. That's a great score, according to this way of judging the scores. The composite size grade, it's good. The weight is up there, but he could be a little bit taller. But, I mean, he has a 9.71 overall RAS, and that, I'm telling you guys, is really, really good. He is one of the top offensive tackles in this draft. I also really like Joe Alt. J.C. Latham is another name that's been rumored around the New Orleans Saints. But Taliese Fuaga, I'm telling you, if the Saints can take this or make this their number 14 overall pick, that is an excellent pick, and I would love to see him rock the black and gold. But I want you to shout him out for me, Saints fans. Who's your number one draft target? I don't blame you for saying a guy like Jaden Daniels or a guy like Caleb Williams or a Marvin Harrison or whatever. Some of those guys might be unrealistic, but at the end of the day, the NFL draft is kind of crazy, and you never can expect or predict truly what's going to happen. So I want you to shout out your number one draft target. For me, it's got to be one of those edge rushers that I talked about earlier, either Jared Verse, Laiatu Latu, or Dallas Turner. So to kind of set the scene around the offensive line, spoiler alert, the last pick is an offensive lineman. I do think that this is a major need in New Orleans. I know that I just said that my number one pick is an offensive or a defensive lineman, one of those edge rushers, but offensive line is a very important position that the Saints have to address, whether it's in free agency or whether it's the draft. I mean, you see the numbers on your screen. They were not good this past year. Eric McCoy, he was pretty good. Top 5 center in the league. He was a Pro Bowler. Got to give him credit where it's due. But Ryan Ramczyk, he's getting banged up. Andrus Peat, a guard that moved out to tackle, but he can play a little bit all over the line. Cesar Ruiz, pardon my French, but what the hell, man? You got an extension and you played like shit this year. James Hurst had to fill in. Trevor Penning didn't pan out. But something that really upsets me was the run blocking production. That was terrible. I mean, look at these grades right here. Compared to what Taliese Fuaga had at a 90.9, no wonder Jamal Williams only had 1 touchdown and struggled all season. No wonder Alvin Kamara had a down year. No wonder Kendre Miller, he was electric when he played, and he looked good, but at the end of the day, he could have been better. Like, the offensive line was just atrocious this year. Eric McCoy, again, holding it down with an almost 90 overall run blocking grade, but like, come on, this offensive line is bad. And I think that at the end of the day, this is one of the biggest draft needs, if not the biggest. I love the idea of going and getting an edge rusher, but I need to see the Saints build up the trenches and improve the offensive line to protect Derek Carr and allow the running backs and whoever is carrying the ball to have some space and have some protection so they can make plays. You tell me, Who Dat Nation, how big of a need is offensive line? Scale it 1 to 10. For me, it's a 10. It just plain and simple, it is a 10. You saw the production on your screen a second ago. If you don't remember it, rewind it, double tap. It'll go back like 10 seconds and see it again. But I want you to get in the comment section and get loud. Like I said, this last pick is an offensive lineman from Lance Zierlien of NFL Network, and it's Troy Fautanu, the offensive tackle out of Washington. So in terms of Fautanu, he was Lance Zierlien saying that he was considered a potential guard by many into the combine, but he possesses the length and tape that says he can play tackle. And his outstanding showing in Indianapolis will shoot him up the draft boards. The PFF grades, he played pretty well. 2 sacks allowed, 3 hits, 18 hurries. A little bit down compared to Taliese Fuaga, but I do like Troy Fautanu, and I think that he could be a really, really good fit in New Orleans. And he's a good pass blocker. The run blocking grade, kind of on the down, but the pass blocking grade is really appealing, and I do like that. Now, the RAS scores for Fautanu, the size, not a great, but the overall score is really good. He moves quick. He has nice explosiveness, and he's a player that I could see the Saints taking at the offensive tackle position to try and replace Trevor Penning or try and push Trevor Penning to be just a good backup or something like that. It blows that he is not going to be that he isn't really panned out, but at the end of the day, you have to have an offensive tackle. You have to protect your quarterback, and that's the best way the Saints can do that, is bringing in an offensive tackle, whether it's in free agency or in a draft. But Who Dat Nation, subscribe today if you are excited for the 2024 NFL Draft. April can't get here soon enough, my friends. I am so pumped to see who we're going to have join the New Orleans Saints, rock that black and gold this season. And don't forget, we're going to have some awesome coverage all throughout the draft and free agency. Lock us in, subscribe today, going live tomorrow. We'll see you next time.